Hey Georgie, uh, hopefully this video format's a little easier to understand than if I were to just uh, do a quick paint over. So I've done some sketching on here. I'm gonna roll through this really quick so you understand what I was doing, and then yeah, hopefully this helps. So real quick, I did a paint over on this. So a lot of these shapes you have are almost divided into thirds or quarters, very even spacing, right? So you got Um, there's these major shapes. These are going like, you could even break this down more and go, you've got this line here, right? But this is landing right on the intersection here, right? So right in the middle. Now, and even this detail, if you're placing it right in the middle, it's usually best, this isn't a hard rule, but often, this is the way I want to go, is you have any shape, you want to look for somewhere around 30 to 70 right here, this percentage. This is a good place to place a detail to create more interest and unexpected um, sort of design. And you can do this too. So like if I have, let's say I have a detail here, I can take this line here and go way outside, right, and pull it back in. And then down here I could even do it again. I could pull way out and go over to there, right? But instead of going to the middle, you're kind of overdoing it just a little bit, which is it'll take some getting used to, but hopefully this makes sense. So in this case, what I've done is move these shapes around just a little bit. So I push the big back pieces down quite a bit. I'm pushing them in a little bit so I can keep a little bit more of, there's like hooking shapes, right? So you go in and out. So instead of just going like you know, this shape, you can do a little bit more, like really doing these crazy hooks, right? And it's the same thing where you're prioritizing the angles or whatever else, but you can use these to create tabs or other insertions, just different ways of interlocking things. Um, we can place details along these edges too. Corners are usually a pretty decent place. Find areas for trim too. If you go look up Marco Plouffe, he has a very good sense of this and explains it quite well on his Chaos Masons YouTube channel. This is just kind of like a basic overview of maybe some things you could try. So here I'm looking at, you've got these curves coming around, right? So maybe I want to find a way to insert that and use that to influence the design a bit. So I'm pulling that out. Over here I've got the same thing, right? You don't have a strap down here. In a lot of cases, these chest armor packs have almost a backpack design where it's strapped in under and strapped in over, really latched on. Here I'm creating a little bit more of this trim, so you have something inserting. So maybe I almost do a circle around it to give it emphasis. That's a place where something is meeting. And here's where I'm doing more of those intersections. Now, and this is a bit confusing here, but one thing you can try and do when you're coming up with these designs is to pull up some reference. And these are all going to be done fairly differently, but maybe you pull from a few areas, right? So Emerson's done a concept here, just placing armor on top. Here's that strap that I was talking about. So he actually did just full armor going all the way across. But he's got this large detail, right? Or medium. So we got this whole chunk is large, and he's got to split it, and then he's got to split. So he's done these almost going down in size. So if I was to do that here, you could put a big detail there, right? And then he's gone and almost circled it, but the circles are, it's different chunks. So the more you play with this, the more you'll start to see shapes, and then you'll find something you like, and you can polish it up. You can use H polish or trim dynamic and just come over it. You could do a remodel of it too. Another thing you can try is using your smooth brush. Go to like smooth stronger in your brush palette. So go smooth right here. You go smooth stronger. And then what this does is if I do I'm going to do a Dynamesh on this guy. Wow. Looks like I broke this a little bit. I'm going to roll this back because I don't want to deal with this. Here we go. So I'm going to delete that, do a Dynamesh. So you can take these shapes you build and use them as almost borders of your base geometry. So we can come through here, you can do it at a lower resolution, you'll really see it, right? And use this as a polish pass for these bigger shapes and figure out how I want to divide everything up. And come around and dig this in. You can see how it flattens it out. And then once you start to find those shapes, you can subdivide up, maybe mark it with polish or polygroups. Start to build out these shapes. You can also just mask them and move them this way, or even do like a polygroup. You could do a group loop, and then you could take this line here and inset that. I need a couple more loops here, so I'm going to try and roll back and do like 3. Yeah. There you go. Now you can see that a little better. Right? So now you can see the line there, and divide your mesh up that way, or split things off as a group. So I could duplicate this and do delete hidden, and then Dynamesh this, and I'll fill in a hole, right? And then the old piece we were working on, we can roll back up to that. You can do the opposite, so flip to the opposite, modify topology, delete hidden, Dynamesh it. And now you split that into 2 chunks that you can work on individually. And then as far as details go, let's take one more look at what Emerson was doing. So we got these larger soft shapes with a hard crease. And using the orbs Chisel brushes are great for this too. Just marking these different areas. So you've already got that down, so I don't really need to cover that too much, but I'm actually going to do chisel. Right here. All right. Oops. All right, now I can take these lines and start to build out some forms based on that. But just the distribution is sort of what I'm going after here. So here you can see I've almost got that even distribution again. So you might go in and find different ways of splitting this up. It takes time. So maybe something like that. Oh, it'll take some playing. You can also use a pinch brush, which is really helpful. You can just kind of squeeze things together here. Like that. Maybe pull things way down or whatever. As far as anatomy goes, I'm just going to cover this real quick. Can pull out your shoulders a little bit more, give more priority to these edges, and get that same aggressive curve. Do the same thing with the biceps. It's like that push and pull. And you can blend your muscles here a little bit too. get like that big taper, right? So the top really chunky and large. We can get some shadow shapes going in the stomach here. So we can push this in. Reduce the intensity of some of these muscles in here. And I'm just going to suck this way up and you could have some bones protruding or whatever. I don't know, just an idea there. To make things a little more dynamic. With the head, I think let's play up the brow you got. Actually, I'm gonna just subdivide the head individually. There we go. So, kind of give him this look. Make him angry. Get these teeth really going. Actually, we could pull out the lower jaw. That could be kind of fun. Just pull out these teeth. Yeah, just start playing out these shapes as much as you can. See where they take you. Just anything you do, you try to like almost do it to 120% and then pull back to the, kind of average. With the pants here, I usually like to keep this area a little bit softer. Like you keep the inner leg here, the thigh, show off that anatomy a little bit, and then you have the wrinkles dropping in for your legs. I think we can make these a little bigger. Maybe beef it out a little. I'm kind of butchering your sculpt here, but maybe it gives you some ideas. And then for the legs, this out a little more. All right. You can see sort of what I'm catching at here too. So you can circle details you've got and then use that as a platform to grow these other details off of. You know, something like that. And then now you get this emphasis on the shape you've got going on there. One other thing I wanted to talk about, and we're just going to cover this briefly. You have anywhere you draw these big lines, so you got these straps, right? And you have the circle coming through here. It leads your eye right to here, and especially when you have these details, details. Everything's pointing right here, so I almost want to have some sort of shape going on right in this area to reward your eye for looking here. So I could draw like a skull, maybe sculpt in a skull right here. I don't know. Kind of getting He-Man vibes from this now, but yeah. Hopefully that helps to give you some more direction. I think you're on the right track. Just keep it up. And then as far as like hard surface resources go, again, check out Marco Plouffe and Chios Masons. And then I would reference, just try out Z Modeler with the creasing. It's a pretty easy way to get a solid base. Yeah, just keep playing with these shapes. It's looking cool. Hope that helps.